Welcome to the lesson. Uh, I'm Madam Lilian, and good afternoon. Today we're going to look at the planning of economics in education, and we shall look at the first topic, which is the introduction to educational planning, which is defined, which was according to Combs in 1970. He defined educational planning is the application of rational, systematic analysis to the process of educational development with the aim of making education more effective and efficient in responding to the needs and goals of students and society. Let's look at the characteristics of educational planning. We have the main, which is one, the choice of best alternative, whereby modern educational planning is a logical, systematic, and scientific process different from the kinds of procedure utilized in the past of bringing about changes in the systems of education. We have teamwork, whereby planning should be a responsibility of all people concerned with the desired change, a team of experts, responsible people, and those who are to implement the plan should determine the goals and appropriate ways of attaining them. We have social and economic goals, whereby modern educational planning emphasizes that the goals of a democratic society should be social and economical, concerned with the welfare and the progress of all citizens. We have the principles of educational planning, whereby upon education planning, there, there are various principles that were founded. One is that educational planning must be one aspect of general national planning. We have research-based planning based on system analysis, and also planning must be a continuous process regarding that it's on educational purpose. Another principle is that planning should find a definite place in educational organization. Also, planning should take into consideration resources and establish conditions of work which will maintain a conducive working environment. We have three approaches that are widely accepted for use in educational process, which are one, social demand, manpower requirements, and cost-benefit analysis or rates of return analysis. We start with the social demand approach, whereby the advantage of using this approach is that first, it is the starting point of planning. All other approaches start with this approach, thus making it of more demand. Second, it is a suitable political tool to meet the needs of the general public. Thus, we find it as the most used approach. The third one is that it provides the education planner with approximate number of places where education facilities have to be provided. Um, though it has its disadvantages, whereby the approach has got no control over such factors as the price of education. It fails to elaborate on who should meet the cost of education, thus making it a disadvantage. The approach has got no control over the absorptive capacity of the economy or trained personnel, thus leads to educated unemployment as many are left jobless. The approach also ignores the quality and quantity of manpower required in an economy. We have manpower requirement approach as the second approach, whereby manpower requirement approach to education planning is generally concerned with skills demand for economy of any country. It aims at developing those skills that are in severe shortage in the economy. It also aims at planning for future manpower requirement to increase the rate of economic development. We also find that it is based on forecasting of the manpower needs of the economy in various skills required by the labor market to produce a certain level of development for a given period. We also find that manpower requirement approach is applied in various areas, such as in specific terms, and estimates they estimate the required number of graduates by education level to create a balance between demand and supply of educated manpower on the labor market. One of its advantages is that the approach reduces the level of educated unemployment, which is a which is a good thing as it will reduce the number of people who are jobless. Disadvantages of manpower approach. First, we find that the approach provides a limited guidance as it does not specify achievement in every level of education. It ignores cultural dimension of education as it does not consider non-quantifiable aspects of education such as drama, music, arts, athletics, and cultural activities, which also limits a lot of people who got talents on those sides. Now we have the third approach, which is the cost benefit analysis. The cost benefit analysis, which is also considered as CBA to education planning, is known as the rate of returns approach. It recognizes the scarcity of resources which should be applied when the best result is achieved. In this approach, expenditure on education is considered to be an investment. Uh, we go to the next topic, which is the process of educational planning. The planning process involves formally and consciously making decisions for the future of individuals and organizations. We have several types of planning. One, strategic planning, which is also called long range, comprehensive, integrated, overall, and managerial planning. It involves identification and examination of future opportunities and threats. It also involves analyzing an organization's environment in terms of strength and weakness. The second planning is operational planning, which entails the implementation of larger goals and strategies determined by strategic planning. It aims in it aims in improving current operations and allocate resources through the operating budgets. Um, the process of educational planning involves the following stages. The first one is clarification of educational goals and objectives, whereby clear goals and objectives of an educational plan give a sense of direction and discipline, which will guide actions to undertake and meet the identified needs. The second stage is the diagnosis of present situations, where at this stage a detailed study of the present conditions in the education system is undertaken. This involves a team of professionals in the field of planning in the education sector. We have the assessment of alternative courses of action as our third stage, which is meant to make viable plans as an understanding of all constraints and possibilities in education. Uh, we can look at the possible solutions in the problems encountered in educational planning, whereby, based on the identified problems proposed, the following solutions can be made. Whereby, one, in every census should be preceded by a sufficient and thorough orientation of the general public. Security should be provided for numerators during census exercise, or rather during the exercise. An understanding should be reached with communities with exclusive customs in order to ensure complete enumeration of persons during census exercise. And also, the last one, there should be thorough supervision of census exercise. That's the end of our class. I think in the next class we shall look at the current policies in educational planning in Kenya. Have a nice day.